A very good morning, students. Welcome back to online class on Java programming course. In our previous session, we discussed about recursion in methods, and we have also seen the access controls. That is, with the help of access specifiers, we are achieving the access control. We have different access specifiers like public, private, protected, and default access specifiers. And after that, we discussed about the static keyword, the role of static keyword in Java programming. Yeah, we are in the middle of the discussion of this static keyword. So hopefully we will complete that in today's session. So quickly we'll go to that slide. So recursion access control we discussed, then static keyword we started. So we said this static keyword, it is mainly used for memory management purpose. So as our computer memory, it is limited in amount, whatever applications we are developing using any programming language, the programming language must have a way to do the memory management. So this using static keyword is one such uh, trick, we can say, one such technique, we can say. Then we said static keyword, it can be applied to variables, methods, blocks, and nested classes. So among these four, we discussed the first two. That is, we discussed what happens when you apply the static keyword to a variable. Okay, that is nothing but the role of static variables within a class that we have discussed. Then static methods also we discussed. Then now we need to discuss about this static blocks and nested classes, static nested classes. Okay. So we said whatever modifications or whatever um, memory management we are applying with the help of this static keyword, it can be to the class, not to an instance. It is instance free. Okay, we have to remember this one. Whatever we do using the static keyword, your instance is not going to have any role in that one. Your object is not going to have any role in that one. So excluding the object, we have to remember this thing. It is very, very important. In Java programming, when we use the static keyword, as we are dealing with memory management, we are free of the object concept. We are free of the instance concept. So whatever techniques, whatever tricks we are going to use using this static keyword, there we are not going to have any role of your object, any role of your instance. Okay, it is purely the class based. Static keyword is class based, not the object based. So whatever coding you are doing using the static keyword, whatever variables you are creating, whatever methods you are doing, whatever static blocks you are creating, all these things will happen before the creation of your object, or before the program gets, I mean, at the time of class getting loaded into the memory. At that time only all these things will happen. Okay, remember this one. Okay, so then we said static, it can be applied, the keyword static, it can be applied to variable. Okay, so it can be applied to a method. So when it is applying, see here in the bracket I mentioned that one very clearly. When you are applying the static keyword to a variable, we are not calling that variable as an instance variable. Rest of all the variables, your normal variables, we are calling them as instance variables. But when you are applying the static keyword to a variable, we are calling that variable as a class variable. We are not calling that variable as an instance variable. Remember this one. Then method, even if you are applying the static keyword to a method, we are calling that method as a class method. We are not calling that as an instance method. Okay, then block as well as the nested class. The block, the term block we discussed in detail. I mean, we said the block is nothing but it is a compound statement, it is a collection of statement. Generally in programming language, whenever we create a block, we use any of the programming constructs like control structures, like the what we call functions or the classes. Using these things we used to create a block, but without using any of these things also we can create a block. How we do that one we will discuss in today's session, hopefully. So quickly, the variable concept, static variable concept, we discussed everything. We have demonstrated the static variable and static method. This also we discussed, the concept of static method. The concept of static method also we discussed. We said when we apply the static to a method, it will become a class method, and in order to invoke that method we no need to depend on the object. Without creating the object also we can call that static method. So here we have I have demonstrated the program how we can call the static method without using the class name. Okay, so that we discussed. Then we have the concept of static block. Okay, static block. So it is used to initialize the static data members. See, when we are creating static variables or static data members inside a class, we said your normal methods they cannot access these static data members. So in order to access these static data members we need to have static methods. Okay, or if you don't want to put a static method inside a class, that initializing the static members, static data members, you can do from the static block as well. So generally why we are using this static block, in the sense to initialize the static data members of your class. Okay, or the class variables, to initialize the class variables. Class variables are nothing but static variables. Okay, to initialize the class variables we are using the static block inside your Java program. Okay, so again, when you are creating a block, okay, a static block inside your program, that block gets executed even before the main method gets executed. Okay, even before the main method gets executed, your static block will be evaluated, or your static block will be executed. I will show you, I will demonstrate this to you how it will happen. Okay, so it is executed even before the main method at the time of class loading. First what the JVM will do, it will load the class into the main memory, and then it will execute the PSVM, that is main method. But when you create a static block inside your class, what will happen? Your static block will get executed even before the main method gets executed. Okay, this thing you have to remember. Okay, this is the advantages, or these are the features of your static block, and quickly we will see the demonstration. So over here I have taken a class with name A2, and inside that, as you can see over here, between these two curly brackets, whatever statements I am keeping, all those things comes under a block only, isn't it? It is a block, and it is an anonymous block, we can say. We have not given any name, we are not using any programming construct, any method name, any class name over here. It is an anonymous block, and inside this anonymous block what I am doing, I am keeping one simple statement, SOP statement, and I am making this particular block as static by using the keyword static. So now this is my static block from here to here. This is my static block. So after that what I am doing, I am simply writing my PSVM, okay, my main method, and in that main method I am writing my hello main statement, one another simple hello main statement. Okay, so now we will execute this code and we will see what output we will get. Okay, and over there I will do the explanation. Okay, so quickly we'll shift to our edit plus. So now class, our class name, there I have taken A2, but here I need to take my class name as test demo only, because my Java program name is test demo. Okay, so here what I have to do, create one block. Okay, this is my normal block, and inside this I'm keeping a statement, static block is invoked. So system dot out dot println of static block invoked. So like this, I am keeping one normal statement, and this block I want to make it as static. So what I have to do, simply use the static keyword over here. Now this is my static block. So after this, what I am doing, I'm writing my PSVM. Okay, public static void main of string args, like this. So within this, what I have to do, sorry, I need to put another statement just to have the clarity over here. I am keeping another uh, system dot out dot println statement. System dot out dot println of, okay, I'm giving this message hello main over here. Okay, so now you save this program. Okay, so just go and compile the program from tools, Java compiler. The program got compiled successfully. So now we need to execute, run. As you can see, if main method is invoking first, if your JVM is invoking the main method first, then you should get this hello main first. But what exactly happening when I'm executing this program, when I'm executing this class, I'm getting this static block invoked first. So this indicates that static block gets invoked even before the main method. Okay, even before the main method, your static block is getting invoked. So if you have any statements, any important statements that you want to invoke even before the main method, you put all those statements inside a static block. Then ultimately what will happen, your JVM will consider that static block as priority over the main method, and it will invoke that static block first, and then it will go to the main method. Hopefully you understood. And this static block, as it is static in nature, it can be used to initialize the static data members of your class variables. Okay, that thing also you can do over here. And one more thing you remember, you cannot initialize or you cannot use the non-static data members inside the static block, because static block, it is getting executed before the object creation. Before the object creation only your static block is getting executed. And if you try to put something, some non-static content inside this static context, what will happen? You will get issues. Your compiler will give you issues. So that thing we need to avoid. So try to put only the static content, whether it is a static data member or whether it is a static method of a class. Try to invoke the static method from the static block, or try to initialize the static data members, try to manipulate the static data members within the static block, and don't ever try to put non-static content inside the static block. Hopefully you understood this thing. So always the static content gets executed, or static content will be invoked even before the main method. This is a valid statement, valid point you have to remember. Okay, hopefully you understood. So quickly we'll go and we'll see what other stuff we have over here. Yes, so now as we can execute, or as we can invoke the code inside the static block even before the main method, is it possible to write a Java program without using the main method? Without using the main method. So can we execute a Java program without main method? Is it possible? The answer to this question, because many times they asked this question for 2 marks in your university question paper. You go and check, you will find this question over there. Okay, is it possible to execute a Java program without the main method? The answer to this question is, no, we can't execute. Okay, there is an explanation on that one. Maybe the people who have referred the older textbooks, I mean, before JDK 1.7. Okay, we have different versions of Java. So if you refer any textbook, any older textbook like JDK 1.4 or 1.5 or 1.6, because up to JDK 1.6 it is possible to execute your Java programs without using the main method and with the help of static block. If your Java version, it is an outdated version like 1.5, 1.6, older than 1.6, then you can execute your Java program without using a main method. But in the advanced versions of Java, like after JDK 1.6, that is from 1.7, we can consider from 1.7, it is not possible to execute a Java program without the main method. Okay, so you just read out this answer. No, one of the ways was the static block. So without using the main method is without using the main method, one of the way was the static block, but it was possible till JDK 1.6. Okay, till JDK 1.6 it is possible to execute your Java program without using main method. So something like this, you need to write the code. Only put the static block, and inside that static block you write, I mean, you code whatever statement you want to put that coding inside this static block, and this static block, it is independent of the memory allocation, as you know. It is independent because memory allocation will be done from the main method. But if your static block is executing without the support of main method, that means no need of any memory allocation for this static block. It can be executed independent to the main method. Okay, this was possible in older versions, I mean 1.6 and older versions. But over here, when we are talking about 1.7 and the advanced versions, whatever we have, advanced Java versions, whatever we have, it is not possible to execute a Java class without the main method. Remember this one. Why means the developers have done that in that way. There is no proper excuse, or there is no proper what we call reason we can give over here. You simply remember that in JDK 1.6 and older versions, executing a Java program without main method was possible using a static block. But now, in the latest versions of Java, that is 1.7 and after the 1.7, whatever latest versions we have, in those versions, it is not possible to execute the Java program without using the main method. Always, in every class, in every program, Java program, you must need to have a main method. From there only the memory allocation will start, and from there only the execution of the program will start. Remember this one. So since JDK 1.7 and above, output would be, so if you try to execute your Java program without the main method, only with the help of a static block, or without keeping a public static void main inside your Java program, then you will get this type of error. Okay, error, main method not found in class so and so. Whatever class name you are giving, in that class name your main method will not be executed. Okay, your main method will not be found, so your program will not be executed and you will get a error. Okay, so let's just go and see how the things will go if I remove this PSVM from my program, and if I compile this and if I execute this. So now, as you can see, I don't have any PSVM and I'm having only static block within my test demo class. So quickly go and compile. Okay, it is compiling. Go and run. See here, the same error I'm getting whatever I kept in this slide. Okay, whatever I kept in that slide, the same error I'm getting. Main method not found in class test demo. Here it is saying A3, but our class name is test demo, so I'm getting this one. Okay, please define the main method as public static void main string args, like this. Okay, so what we have to do in order to execute our program successfully, simply put the PSVM. So don't put any statement in the PSVM, then also it will consider, I guess. Simply put PSVM like this, public static void main of string arguments. That's it. Like this you put, and now hopefully your program gets executed. Compilation, it is successful, and now hopefully you will get the output. See, static block invoked. As we are not keeping any statement inside the main method, we are not getting. But inclusion of the main method is mandatory. Remember this one. Okay, as our version of Java, it is an advanced version. So definitely we need to put the main method in our program, in our class, in order to execute that class. Hopefully you understood. So quickly go and see what additional concepts we have. The last thing, the last concept in this static keyword is the static nested classes. So it is even possible to put a static class within another class. So we call such a class as a static nested class in Java. Okay. So a static class that is created inside a class is called a static nested class in Java. So when it is a static class, the static context, when you are creating a static class, it is nothing but it is the static context. So inside the static context, what we can't do, we can't access the non-static content. Whether it is a method or a variable, we cannot access the non-static content within the static context. Remember this one. It is very, very important that I will write over here. Okay. If you have non-static content, I'm saying content. So what you mean by non-static content? Non-static content, it can be a it can be a data member, it can be data or method. So non-static content to static context. So anything defined by using static keyword. We call that thing as static context. Okay. Defined using static keyword. Defined using static. So anything defined using static, whether it is a variable, whether it is a method, whether it is a class, whether it is a block, whatever it may be, anything defined using static keyword, we call that thing as static context. So non-static content we cannot access inside the static context. Okay, non-static content we cannot access inside the static context. Remember this one. Okay, so over here the same rule will be applied. It cannot, I mean, being a static class, static nested class, it cannot access the non-static data members and methods. Non-static data members and methods. It is a very valid point, very important point. It can be accessed by outer class name. So how we are going to access? I mean, in order to access the inner class name, we don't have any direct object. So how we have to access that inner class in the sense, or nested class in the sense, with the help of outer class name. Okay, we'll do one practical example. Over there you will understand this concept. Okay. Yes, the points, the two important points that I have written over here, it can access static data members of outer class including private. So even if your static data members, if they are private, you can access that private static data members as well inside the static nested class. Okay, because private members, and we are keeping the class nested class within the class itself. So I mean, if you have something within the class, it can have the access right to private data members as well. Okay, private non-static data members your static nested class cannot access, but private static data members your nested class, your static nested class can access. Remember this one. Okay, the terminology very, very important over here. You again and again need to watch the video, or again and again refer the textbook, refer the notes in order to understand this terminology. Because without the terminology, learning any programming language, it is very difficult. You will not understand anything. and whatever terms I'm using over here, they are purely the terminological terms in your Java programming. So first of all, you need to know what is static. Then only you will understand all these things. Okay. So static nested class. I mean, nested class, when I'm saying a class within a class. Nested class, when I'm saying a class within a class, we call it as a nested class. And I'm saying static nested class. That means when you are saying static nested class, it can access only the static data members, even if they are private, because it is a nested class. Nested class can access the private members. So when it is a static nested class, it can access the private static members only. It cannot access non-static members. Remember this one. Okay. Static nested class cannot access non-static. Non-static, when I'm saying here in the bracket, I kept instance. So non-static means they are related to object. When I'm saying non-static, they are related to object. So anything which is dependent on object, you cannot access inside the static block. Anything which is dependent on object, anything which is dependent on instance, you cannot access that thing inside the static context. It is also another important point. Okay. So that non-static content, it can be your data member or it can be your method. Okay, remember this one. So quickly we will demonstrate that thing with the help of a program. So over here you can see I have written one class, and the class name is your outer class, because we are taking two classes. One is outer class and another one is inner class. So as you can see, my outer class is a regular class, okay, without any special keyword. Normally I have defined this outer class, and the name of that outer class is test outer. Test outer. Okay. So inside that I am keeping one default. It is default, isn't it? Default integer data member with name data, and I have initialized the value like 30. And it is a static data member. It is a class variable. When I'm saying static data member, it is a class variable. So now I'm creating another nested class. I'm creating another class as nested class. So that class name I'm giving as inner, and I'm making that class as static. Because this class is static, it can access the static content. Okay. So inside it, what I am doing, I am keeping one method, a normal method inside the static class, a normal method, and in that normal method I am trying to access the data. I am trying to access this data variable, which is static data variable, static variable or class variable, and I can access this because this entire thing, whatever I am keeping, this entire thing goes inside the static context only. Okay. So then I am keeping my main method, and inside main method, the way how I am accessing this inner class, you just check. Nested class, you just check. So in order to create the object of this inner nested class, what I am doing, test outer dot inner. Test outer dot inner object name equals to new test outer dot inner. So now using this object, I can invoke the message method. Okay, I can invoke the message method. So quickly I will write this entire program on the on our IDE. So yes, we will rename this. Take a new one. Okay. So now class test outer. Okay, in this test outer class, what I have done, okay, I kept one static. Okay, save this program, and what name we have to give for this test outer only, isn't it? Control C. Okay, Control S, test outer dot Java. Okay, now the program got saved. So test outer static int, give some variable name like data equals to some 30 I have given. So this is my static variable, class variable. Then I am creating my nested class, static nested class. Static class Okay, I'm giving the name inner, isn't it? Class name is inner. So now what I have to do inside this class, create one method, void message. Okay, void message, and in it you print that data. Because it is a static context, you can access the static data member. So system dot out dot println of, okay, data value is, okay, any message plus data, close this. So now, yes, come out of the inner class and write your PSVM public static void main of string args, come down, and in it you try to create the object, because I need to call the message method which is inside the inner class. So how I can create the object for inner class means I need to depend on outer class as well. Okay, so take the outer class reference in order to create the inner class object. So test outer dot inner obj equals to new, call the constructor of inner class, test outer dot inner of. So like this you need to see, when we are calling the inner class, when we are referring the inner class, we are not taking the help of outer class object. That you have to understand, because whatever stuff we kept inside the outer class, test outer class, complete stuff is static stuff. Complete stuff is static stuff. So whatever you keep inside the outer class, I mean whatever you want to access from the inner class, you cannot access directly, rather you need to depend on the test outer class name. If it was, I mean whatever we have inside this, if it was the non-static content, then you have to create the object for test outer class, then you have to create the object for test inner class. It was a different concept. So here now, in order to call the message like this, you have to do obj.msg. So now the program gets saved. Go compile. Yeah, it got compiled successfully. So what output we will get? We are calling the msg method, message method. So you will get this data value is, what is data value? 30. That message you need to get on the output screen. So quickly run it and you can see data value is 30 we are getting on the output screen. So in this way we can create the static data member, static method, static block, and as well as the static nested class. And from which context we can access the static data members, and from which context accessing the non-static data members is completely restricted, all those things we have discussed. Okay, so yes, after this we have another important keyword in Java, that is the final keyword. So quickly let me just check how much time. It is 33 minutes over, so still we have like 20 minutes of time. So let's just finish this final keyword over here. Okay, so the final keyword in Java, so like the static keyword is used to do the memory management, the final keyword is used to restrict the content, restrict the access. Apart from the access control, access specifiers, this final keyword is another way of restricting the content from access, from modification, from tampering, we can say. Okay, from changing. Okay, so it is also a way of providing the security to our content, security to our classes, our methods, our variables, our data members. Okay, so Java's final keyword, so whatever final keyword we have in Java, it can be used in many different contexts. Okay, we have different situations where we can use this final keyword. Okay, so final keyword, it can be used with variables, normal variables, and normal variables to give some extra features, to impose some restrictions. Remember this one. When we are using a final keyword with a normal variable, it will be no longer a normal variable. It will gain some extra properties. It will gain some extra features, extra restrictions, extra protection, we can say. Okay, so applying final keyword on a variable, it will be no longer a normal variable. Okay, then applying the final variable or final keyword on a method, it will be no longer a regular method. Applying the final keyword on a class, it will be no longer a normal class. So final keyword, it can be used in these three different contexts: with a variable, with a method, and with a class. Okay, so quickly we will check the final keyword with a variable. So the final keyword, it can be applied with the variable. A final variable that have no value is called a blank final variable or uninitialized final variable, because when you make a variable as a final, its value will be fixed. It will become like a constant. It will become like a constant. You cannot modify the final variable anywhere outside a constructor. Anywhere outside a constructor, doing modification to a final variable is completely restricted. Okay, so a final variable, if you're not doing the initialization of a final variable, it will become a blank final variable. Okay, an empty final variable. Okay, a final variable which is uninitialized. Remember this one. So always try to do the initialization of a final variable where you are doing the definition of the final variable. Okay, so it can be initialized inside the constructor only. The final variables where we can initialize, inside a constructor only we can do the initialization. Okay, once initialized, their value will become fixed. It can't be changed. Okay, the blank final variable can be static also. We can even make a final variable as a static variable also, which will be initialized inside the static block only. So when you are making a final variable as a static one, when you are making a final variable as a static one, the modification of that final static variable must be done from the static context only. Outside the static context, it is not possible to access your static variable that you know already. So the blank final variable can be static also, which will be initialized in the static block only. Okay, so now we are discussing about the first concept under this final keyword, that is final variable. If you make any variable as final, you cannot change the value of final variable. Okay, it will be like a constant. The value of a final variable will become like a constant value. It cannot be modified, it cannot be changed, it cannot be updated. You can manipulate, you can access, but you can't change. Okay, so example of final variable, I'm defining a class. I mean, in my next what we call program demonstration, I'm dealing with this final variable. Over there I have taken a class name, a class, and inside that class I'm taking a final variable, and I'm trying to modify that final variable, and we will see what output we will get. Okay, so here you can see a normal program I have written, a normal class I have written. The class name is, I have taken like bike. Okay, my class name is bike, and in that class I'm taking a normal variable. It is not a static. It is not a static. It's a final variable, but a normal final variable. Okay, so you can access this normal final variable anywhere inside your class. Don't think of static, non-static contexts over here. They are independent of that thing. Okay, so I'm taking a variable with the name speed limit. Speed limit is my variable name, and I'm keeping value 90 into that speed limit variable. So now what will happen when I'm keeping this speed limit 90 into this speed limit variable? This variable, this data member, it will become like a constant because it is a final variable. It will become like a constant. So once it is a constant, anywhere in the program, if you try to change the value of this speed limit, what will happen? You will get issues. You will get error. So inside the run method, it is a normal method, it is not a constructor, it is a normal method. So inside the run method, when I'm trying to change the value of speed limit, okay, I'm trying to change the value of speed limit to 400, I'm getting issue. So all these things we will check one by one. Quickly we'll go to, okay, I think I closed my IDE. So edit plus, I'm opening. So in this context, I'm writing my first program, that is class bike I have to take. So again, if I take bike, I need to change my class name. So no issues, we will change. Okay, bike, and here final int speed limit is my variable name, and I'm making it as 990. So again, I'm writing one function over here. I think void only. Okay, void run, and in this function what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to change the speed limit value, speed limit to 400 I'm making. So now my PSVM public static void main of string args. Okay, so inside this I need to create the object because it is non-static content. So bike bobj equals to new bike of, so now call bobj bike object obj dot run. Does it going to work? Because I'm trying to change the final variable value inside my run method. So is it possible? Am I able to do so? Compile. Yes, you can see cannot assign a value to a final variable speed limit. Okay, so it is a final variable, and whatever value we have assigned to that final variable, that is 90, it will become like a fixed value, it will become like a constant value. And if you try to change that value of speed limit variable, you will get issues, you will get errors. So now you can access that variable, you cannot change but you can access. So see system.out.println. okay, so I'm trying to print the speed limit value. Speed limit is, okay, so plus speed limit. So like this I can access the speed limit value but I cannot change it. So just go compile. Yes, processing is successful, compilation is successful. Now run. Yes, it is printing. There is some mistake. Yes, I have not changed my program name. As you can see, testouter.java, I have not changed. I need to make my program name as bike.java, and it is executing the previous class only. Save as that bike.java. So now it will be successfully compiled and executed. Okay, compilation successful. Now you go and run. As you can see, speed limit is 90 I'm getting. Speed limit is 90 I'm getting. So close this one. Next thing what I have to do, yes, just try to access this final variable, try to modify this final variable from the constructor. Is it possible? So inside the constructor what I am doing, speed limit of 200 I am modifying. No, speed limit equals to 200, like this I am modifying. So save it. Now go compile again. No, just wait. So even from the constructor you cannot modify the final variable value. Okay, so here let me just, instead of keeping the constant, yeah, make here you make it as uninitialized. Then you see, yes, that was the issue. Once you have initialized, it will become fixed. Okay, once you have initialized, it will become fixed. So now you can reinitialize. I mean, as you have not done the initialization over here, the final variable, you can do the initialization only from the constructor. Remember this one, only from the constructor. So now we will check. Yes, 200 we are getting. So Can we do the initialization? Already we checked, right? Uninitialized, can we do the initialization from the main, I mean from the from the normal method? So that we will check. Speed limit equals to 200. Can we do the initialization like this? I think it will not allow. Yes, you cannot do. Only from the constructor you can do. Only from the constructor you can do the initialization of an uninitialized final variable. Remember this one. Write down this statement. You can do the initialization of an uninitialized final member from the constructor. Like this, it will allow you. So compilation successful. As you can see, already we did this one. So just run and check. You're getting the output. Okay. So now you just make this as static final speed limit. So can we do the initialization from a constructor? Just check that one. No, it is not allowing us. Cannot assign a value to final variable speed limit. So it is not allowing us from the constructor. So can we do this from a static block? Can we do this from a static block? Yes. So if it is a static final variable, you can, if it is an uninitialized static final variable, you can do the initialization from the static block only. Even the constructor will not let you do so. Even the constructor will not let you do so. But if it is a non-static final uninitialized variable, then you can do the initialization of such variable from the constructor only. Remember this one. So now we successfully completed all the concepts associated with this final and static variable. Okay, so quickly we go and we see what other stuff we have over here. This we have seen, and we got the compile time issue, and we modified, we executed, and I have shown you how you can do that one. Okay, so the next thing, Java's final method. What happens if a method is a final method? So how you are going to deal with a final method, and what restrictions it will get if it is final. I mean, a method being a method, if it is final, what restrictions it will get, in the sense, simply you cannot overwrite it. Okay, overriding, it is a concept of inheritance. In inheritance, when you are extending a subclass, when you are extending a child class from a parent class, and inside a parent class, if you have a method with some name, you can't use the same name inside the child class. You cannot override the existing method from the parent class if it is final. If it is final, method overriding is blocked. Method overriding is restricted. Method overriding is not allowed. So if you make any method as final, you cannot override it. A simple statement. If you make any method as final, you cannot override it. You cannot override. So here you can see I have taken the same bike class, and I'm taking another Honda class. Okay, bike, inside that bike I'm taking only one method, that is a run method. Okay, and in that I'm keeping a normal statement, SOP statement, that is running. Okay, so after that what I am doing, I'm extending the Honda from bike class. Okay, extends, class Honda extends bike. So this extends is a keyword to inherit. In order to inherit your Honda from bike class, this is bike class already existing, we are creating Honda class by extending from bike class. So to do so, what keyword we use? We use extends keyword. Extends. So that we are doing over here. Extends is a keyword to inherit the Honda class from bike class. So now inside this Honda class, what I am doing, I am taking a method with same name as run. So this kind of thing is not possible, because the run method in your parent class, it is final. So you cannot override it. You cannot override it. Taking the same method name both in parent class as well as in child class is the concept of method overriding. is the concept of method overriding. And method overriding is restricted when you make the method as final. Okay, this is the concept. So when you are doing so, you are getting a compile time error because the method is a final method. So remember this one. So if you make a variable as static, we discussed in our previous slide, and if you make a method as final, sorry, if you make a variable as final, we discussed in our previous slide, and if you make a method as final, over here we have discussed. So only the inheritance, the method overriding is completely restricted. So what happens if you make a class as a final? Java's final class. If you make a class as a final, you cannot extend any class from that final class. Final means there only we are deciding that it is a complete class. It is a concrete complete class, and we don't need to put any extra stuff into that class. So you just make that class as a final class. So no other class can extend this final class. So the inheritance is completely restricted. If you make the class as a final, inheritance from that class is completely restricted. So you just see that one. Here we are creating a class with name bike, and I'm creating another class Honda, and I'm trying to extend this Honda from bike class, which is a final class, So again, what will happen? You will get issue over here. So quickly, these two things we will see in our program. So Control A, delete. So quickly I will write class bike, and in it I'm keeping one method run. Okay, and here I'm keeping system.out.println off, and I'm writing one method here bike class. One simple message I'm taking. Okay, take another class take the name of this class like uh, Honda, the same like our extends bike. Okay, here you put same method void run. Okay, here you put system dot out. So what happens if you don't put this method? First we'll start from the basic. So then public p small public static void main of here you put string args of. Here you create the object. I'm creating the object of Honda class. Honda HOBJ equals to new Honda. Okay, so like this. Now using HOBJ, can I call the run? Yes, because it is inherited, isn't it? This class, Honda class, is extended from bike class, so it inherit this method as well. So now save this program with bike.java name, then compile. Yes, compilation successful. Now you run. See, okay, what error? Main method is not found. Achha, so main method is inside Honda class, so we need to create here you do one thing, take another class, test demo. Okay, and in it you create public static void main. This entire thing you put over here. Just that's it. This entire thing you put over here, and don't put anything inside the Honda class. Okay, because I'm not overriding in the first case. I'm not overriding the run method. I'm simply calling the run method from the parent class using the child class object. So these things we will discuss once again when we do the inheritance. Save as. The program name I'm taking test demo.java. Yes, overwrite it. Yeah, here we need to close this. Okay, close this. Test demo 2 you put test demo 2.java, save it. So here also you need to put test demo 2. Okay, save it. Now tools, compile. The compilation successful. So when I am creating the object of Honda class and I am invoking the run method, that run method it will invoke from the parent class. So just go and check. See, bike class. We are getting the message from bike class run method. So now I will override that run method over here. How we can? So take the same method. Void run here. What I am doing? So system dot out dot println of here Honda class. Honda class. So now what will happen? You just see. Same thing, I'm not changing anything. I'm using the child class object to execute the run method. So from where it will execute that run method? Compile, compilation successful, then run. See, Honda class we are getting now. So what exactly it is doing means it is overriding whatever run method we have inside the bike class. The Honda class is overriding that method by taking the same name, run. So if you don't want such a thing, if you don't want your method to be overridden, so simply what you have to do, make your method as final. Make your method as final. Now your compiler will raise issues. See, void run you cannot overwrite because it is final. Run in Honda cannot overwrite run in bike. Void run. Overridden method is final. Because that method is final, you cannot override the run method. This type of issue you will get. So in such a way you can make the method as not to override. Okay, so then how you can make your class not to be extended? So simply make that class as final class bike, and here I am extending my Honda from bike. So just see what will happen. Compile. Yes, cannot inherit from final bike. Okay, you're trying to extend from bike, which is not possible. You're trying to extend, you're trying to inherit from bike class, which is not possible because bike is a final class. So this type of issues you will get. So final keyword, we discussed everything related to that one. So yes, is final method inherited? Yes, the final method from the base class to the child class, it will be inherited. There is no issue. But you cannot override. Inheriting is possible, but you cannot override. Overriding is not possible. See over here, instead of taking, I'm making this method. You just remove this final just to explain that concept. I'm making this method as final, so you cannot override. So take some different name over here. Okay, run in place of run, you take something else. Display. So now what will happen? Yes, both the methods you can call HOBJ using the child class object only. Display and run. So display from the child class and run from the parent class. So simply compile, compilation successful, and go and run. You will get both the messages now. See, Honda class, bike class, both the messages you are getting. So from display method you are getting Honda class, and from run method you are getting bike class. Even though the run method is final, it is inherited from bike class to Honda class. That's the reason I have created only the Honda class object, and using the Honda class object I am calling both the methods, display and run. Display is in Honda class, child class, and run is in bike class. The final method got inherited from the base class to the subclass. So this is the concept over here. Then the next one, can we declare a constructor as final? Not possible, because constructor we cannot override, we cannot inherit. Nothing will happen with the constructors. So constructors, they can't be final. Okay, constructors, they can't be final, as constructors are not going to have any return type, and the constructors, they cannot be inherited from base class to the child class. Okay, so because of that reason you cannot use the final keyword for constructors. Okay, this is another special property for constructors. We can say constructors, they can't be final. Okay, then the concept of inner classes, the concept of nested classes, and the command line arguments, that we will discuss in our next session, hopefully. Thank you very much, students.